Hello! So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to connect two crochet squares by actually crocheting them together instead of sewing them together, which is the more traditional, most used route. So all you're going to need for this tutorial today is two different kinds of yarn. It helps if they are the same brand of yarn and same weight of yarn, so that they fit together nicely in the seam, but you know, whatever you have is fine. You will need a hook, whatever hook size is recommended for your yarn, and then also some scissors. You are not going to need a tapestry needle today. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So to begin with today, I have made my first square. I am using Caron Simply Soft today. And I just made this square 12 stitches by 12 rows, and I used a 5mm clover amour crochet hook. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next color of yarn that I want to use. In this instance I'm using soft blue, and I'm going to attach my yarn at the very corner of my work. And I consider this to be the front side. This is where I did my last row. You can clearly see the rows in twos, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. It's gonna be on the opposite side of your loose yarn, but I'm gonna go right here in the end. I'm going to pull my yarn through, and then I'm just going to tie it in a little knot. So after we've done that, we are going to make our chain for the bottom of our square over here, and we need to do 12 stitches by 12 rows. So I'm going to put my hook through the hole that we just tied our yarn on, and I'm going to pull through, and we'll count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we're going to have to do one more, and that's going to be our turning chain. So 13. After we have our 13 chains, we're going to flip it over. And I'm going to start single crochets along my chain here. So I'm going to obviously skip the first one, that would be our 13th chain. I'm going to start in the next one there. So that's 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there's 10, 11, and then on our last one, that is going to be the one that is a little bit different. So we do have one chain left right here for number 12. We're going to put our hook through that chain just like we're going to start our single crochet, yarn over and pull through. Now this point is where it is a little bit different. So if you look on the side of our work here, we have a hole right here, and I'm going to put my hook through that hole. And then at this point I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through all 3 loops. And that connects our first row. So after that, we need to connect up for our second row. So I'm going to pull this loop out a little bit. Now I'm just going to take my hook out. So now I'm going to flip my work over here. And I'm going to be putting my hook through the next hole up. Normally I would put it through right here because that would be the easiest, but I found that it looks cleaner if you actually go through the side loop right here. So we went through the first hole. Here would be the second hole, and I'm actually just going to go through this little side right here. And then we're going to grab our loop that we pulled out. We're going to put it on our hook, and we're just going to pull that loop through that side where we put our hook in. And once you've done that, you can just single crochet right across your line, 12 stitches. All right, once I've gotten to my end, I'll just turn it around and we'll start going back the other way. So this would be stitch 11. Now on 12, which is our last stitch, we're gonna go through the top, just like normal. Yarn over and pull through. And then at this point is when we're gonna find our next hole in the side, which for me is gonna be right here. I'm gonna stick it through there. It should always be on a seam for your coming back row. So I put it through the side, I'm gonna yarn over, pull through, and pull through all of them. So after you've done that, we're gonna pull our loop out a little bit, take it off of our hook, turn our work over, and this is when we are going to go through the side of our next hole. Like I said, it's always going to be on this very clear seam. So following the seam, this would be our next hole, but I'm going to go through the side here. Okay. After we've done that, I'm going to grab my loop that I left, put it on my hook, and pull it through, and then we'll just continue on with our single crochets. Now this just repeats over and over and over again, but I will show you guys each time because I know that it can be a little confusing. If you do notice, I don't chain one whenever I switch rows. At the end of my rows, I don't do a chain one, so your sides might look different if you do chain one, I'm not sure. On my way back, I'm going to stop at the last one, look for the seam, which is going to be here, because we've already done this seam. We're going to do this seam. I'm going to go into the hole right at the end of that seam, which is here. Well, first, actually, we need to go through the stitch. Pull through. Now go through the hole. Yarn over, pull through two. And then after you've done that, we're going to pull our loop out, turn our work, look for the next seam, which is here. So I'm going to put my hook through this hole right here. This is why I don't like Simply Soft. It's too slippery. It's really hard to work with for me. But anyway, we're gonna pull that through. After we've done that, we're just going to continue crocheting. Coming up on the last stitch. Once we get there, we're gonna go through, yarn over, pull through. We're gonna find our hole, which is gonna be on this seam. So it's right there. Put my hook through that, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through two to finish off our single crochet. So this looks a little bit messy, but that is actually the back side. If you turn it over, it is quite clean of a seam. But anyway, I'm gonna drop my loop, look for the next seam, put my hook through that hole at the end. I'm gonna grab my loop, pull it through. And then I'll just continue on crocheting. So I am coming up on my last row. I have done 11 rows. I need to do 12. So I just wanted to show you how to connect them at the top so that it creates a continuous seam across the top and it looks very nice. So what you're gonna do is I've dropped my loop. I'm coming over to the other side, and instead of like just going through the top like this, as if you were crocheting into it, we're going to go in through the top of the stitch like that. And I also go through this one. So I'll show you one more time. Here are the stitches across the top. Here's the last one. I'm gonna go straight through it. And then I'm also gonna catch the front of that stitch there. I'm gonna grab my loop and pull it through. And then we will crochet our last row. If this wasn't there. And like I said, that just creates a nice continuous top. Once I get to the end, I'm going to do my last stitch and cut off my yarn. All right, so here would be the finished product. This is the front, and this is what it looks like on the back. It is a pretty clean seam, especially if you're looking like this is only maybe like 5 inches or so away. Up close you can see it is actually a pretty nice seam. It's pretty strong too, especially it's stronger than if you were to just sew 2 pieces together. I think it'll hold up longer. But I personally like this method. I know that the Harry Styles cardigan is really popular, so this would be a great way to minimize the amount of sewing that you have to do whenever you're making a project like that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys can use this. I hope it makes your projects go by faster. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, follow me on my page, subscribe. And if you want to see any more videos from me, you can go ahead and put them down in the comments. Give me some ideas of videos to do in the future. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.